Hello and welcome to Chess Please. Today we're simply going to play a game of chess unfettered by the expectations of our ELO ranking, and I wanted to point out a lovely little feature on chess.com that can help you do this, because I, as I'm sure many of us playing chess, have been guilty of chasing rating points, where you play specifically to win rating points, and chess is kind of unfortunate insofar as there is a very specific number that you have, your ELO rating, that tells you how good you are at chess compared to everyone else who plays, which can be a tremendous burden to carry with you, particularly in the throes of a game. So there is a quick setting here on chess.com, and I believe on lichess as well. It's called Zen mode, or in chess.com it's called focus mode. So you come down here, you turn on focus mode, and all that does is it hides the ELO during the game. It doesn't count as an unrated game. You're still playing for those points, but just very subtly psychologically, when you can't see the scores. I know I've definitely gotten blinkered where I'm playing a player who's much higher rated than I am, and I second guess myself because of that. Or the inverse happens where I'm playing a player who is much lower rated than me, and I think, we can coast to victory here. And neither of those things end up being true. People are very fallible and very capable of playing great games. So we're turning on focus mode. I'm going to jump into a game. Let's have it. Alright, let's get right into it. It is a wonderful morning for chess, as every morning is. So why not today? We are going to start off with our classic e4. I've been tooling around with the Scotch game recently, so if they give me an opportunity to scotch it up, I'm going to take that one for a walk today. They haven't. We're into a Caro Kann, which always gives me an opportunity to showcase the old Rasa Studier Gambit. Those of you who've been on the channel before, you might have seen this. It's a great fun gambit, but it's dubious. I think with best play you're behind, but nobody ever really plays best play against it. So let's see what we face today. So the Rasa Studier Gambit is where you gambit away. We gambit away this pawn, but that's kind of technically not the gambit part yet, because the knight technically covers. The gambit part comes here, where you play the often ill-advised f3, and it is actually ill-advised here, but you can back it up to make it a very complicated game. We'll get both knights in, so we're 2-0 up in development, 2-1 now if you count the bishop. Development doesn't really work like that, but it kind of does. And our response here is to bring the bishop out here. Now they kind of have to do this right now, or they're in a little bit of tribloid. They haven't done, so now we can do this little trickerino. This doesn't actually win you any pieces. Taking here, the king takes. All right, it's going to jump on in here. We'll show this on the board. Jumps on in here, hits the bishop, which you'll notice is defended by the knight. So we're really just recouping the material that we lost with the initial bishop sacrifice. But if you look now, the king is in a halfpenny place. The rook is forever trapped. There's a huge gaping hole there on... what's that? F7. F7, wonderful. I don't really want to take with the queens just yet. So I'm going to just tuck myself. I don't want to trade off and just let their knight get into things. We'll keep our queen in the mix somewhat here, just like this. I have to be cautious now. The king and the queen are aligned. We're going to castle pretty soon. This pawn in this variation, the Rasa Studier Gambit, is often incredibly weak, because when you castle, this pawn is a direct ally to the king there on g1. So you've got to make sure you don't drop that pawn, because oftentimes that happens with check, and it's really annoying and can be the difference between winning and losing. So, to wit, like there's trouble a brewing for the king already, but I don't see any reason not to get our full army into the mix. Well, I just talked about this pawn, so may as well defend it. Does leave our queen a little bit awkward there. The knight, where's the knight coming in? Here or here? I don't really mind that. You'd have to think this rook is going to slam across here. I think this is a little passive, but I do kind of want to keep that knight out of here. That's very passive though, isn't it? It's very passive, but Oh, there's that maneuver too. But I don't really mind this trading off that knight. We're actually going to go for some double trouble here. Yeah, I'll trade off that every single time. And right, what our response to this one is, because you see, I don't really. I would love to kind of keep the queen somewhere along this f-file because we're kind of threatening mate, and keeping an eye on that pawn as well. There's a chance if the queen ever is asleep at the wheel, we can capture that with check. Very conscious of mouse slipping. I'm a real mouse slipper, if I'm honest. So yeah, like back here is interesting. Back here is interesting. I think that's going to be the most interesting. Keeps an eye on this, allows us to do this should we require. I don't see any reason not to double rooks here. That's fine. That's absolutely fine by me. Gonna hit him with a little bit of this. Grab a little space on the queen side. That's fine. I think we're actually going to go a little bit John Rambo over here. Just because I can see a trade-off shaken down here, so I don't see why we shouldn't just start to think about how we're going to get that pawn home. I think that could be our path to victory here. Is there... I think there's a little cheeky tactic here. If we go here, king kind of has to take the bishop. Yeah, I think that's going to be a little tricky. Let's think about this for a moment. Here, if the king doesn't take and they just move here, well then the rook is double attacked, so we win the rook for free. So the best cause would be king there, king take the pawn, rook take here. No immediate checks, like that's obviously just nothing. Queen can't really infiltrate that well, I would say, so ultimately I like it. King to oh, resigned. They resigned as soon as we played that, so pretty handy. Nothing too crazy. Didn't even really get into our fiendishly attacking version of the Rasa Studier Gambit, but a nice simple game from a nice simple boy. That is going to be all from me today, folks. I hope you had a good time. Nothing too ludicrous here, just some nice, simple, logical chess. And that'll do us, folks. So thank you for sticking around. I hope you had a good time. Feel free to subscribe for more chess content like this, and have a great day. All the best.